So, I have everything ready to go, and I've already chosen my assistant, MACD. This is a popular tool that helps you understand the direction of movement and the strength of the current trend. It is useful for beginners because it visually helps you understand when the movement is running out of steam or, conversely, gaining momentum. Let's choose our team, and this one. Great, now let's get started. There is currently a steady upward movement. The chart continues to rise and breaks through an important mark that previously served as a benchmark. It is visually apparent that the momentum is continuing. One of the lines on the assistant is rising and passing above the other, which is usually perceived as a sign of a strengthening of the current movement. Based on the overall picture, I continue to follow the same direction. Okay, let's move on. After an active decline, the chart stabilized for a while, moving within a fairly narrow range. Then there was a slight rise, and now the movement has returned to the area where it all began. Earlier, the dynamics of the line showed a change in direction, and the current situation may indicate a continuation of this movement. I am observing the development of events in the same vector. So far, everything is going according to the rules of logic, no emotions. This is important. After a short pause in movement, the chart has again approached the area it touched earlier. It is visually clear that the direction is being maintained. The lines on the assistant are going in one direction and confirm the overall dynamics. I expect developments in the same direction. Great, let's move on. Let's see what we have here. There is an interesting situation on the chart. Despite the fact that the line has fallen below the previous value, the visual data has not strengthened, as it did before. This may indicate that the dynamics are weakening. The first element indicating a change in direction has appeared. One of the columns has changed color, and from that moment on, the movement began in the other direction. Gradually, the lines began to bend, and their shape shows that the scenario may unfold. I am watching the development and continuing to move in the right direction. After a short pause, the chart returned to a steady rise. Now the movement looks confident and smooth, which creates favorable conditions for continuing in the same direction. But we are moving on. The movement maintains a confident upward direction. So far, there are no signs of a change in the scenario, so it is not advisable to consider the opposite vector. Therefore, I continue to stick to the current direction. Okay, guys. Let's not slow down. So, what do we have here? The chart has slightly updated the previous low point and approached the area where the direction had previously changed. If we compare the current picture with what was to the left, we can see that the visual data is now much weaker than it was during the previous decline. This may indicate a weakening of pressure, and often in such situations, movement in the opposite direction occurs. Let's do it. It's great when everything happens automatically. But that only comes with experience. Let's keep watching, friends. Let's see what we have here. The situation is developing similarly to what we saw earlier. After a short pause, the line continues to move in the same direction. The picture looks like this: the main movement, then a small pullback, and then a return to the previous scenario. Everything fits into a familiar and already observed structure. Good. Okay, let's continue. After the previous movement, there was a noticeable pause with an uptick, followed by a return to an area that had already appeared several times before. Now the chart is moving in a narrow range, as if slowing down and building momentum. I am watching the situation develop near the upper border of this section. Often at such moments there is a change in direction. Okay, guys. Let's do a couple more. The chart shows a confident and sustained momentum in a certain direction. The assistant shows movement in the same direction. Everything indicates that the current dynamics are continuing. And now let's do the final one. The situation is developing according to a familiar scenario. First, the main momentum, then a short pause with a pullback, and then a continuation in the same direction. We've seen this sequence before, and now the chart is repeating a similar pattern. Everything is clear here. Well, you can see for yourselves. Of course, I'm crazy happy with how things turned out.